So welcome to Linka Online. This is our second video. I'm going to be showing you how to glue some pieces together and how to get a nice sort of straight edge. So just using standard roof pieces as it was. And I'm using a fine tip adapter, which is on my website. There's a link to it in the links, etc. So if you want to get yourself one of these, great little tool. What I've done here is I've actually set a set of pieces up which all already go into each other, and generally I use a small needle file as such and just knock out any sort of little pieces that don't look right. Take that edge off, work your way around, just knock out little pieces out, and then put a couple of pieces together, make sure they go in. They don't, so you have to mess around a little bit until they all go together, and then you can start. Okay, so I use a glass board, prefer a glass board because it always keeps obviously everything 100% flat. Fine needle adapter, 2 pieces of roof, obviously make sure that you're always doing the roof in the right direction, so I do it facing me. Little dots of glue, I hope you can see that on the video, on the edge there. I tend to do these in 2s, put my 2 pieces together. My finger over it, flat down on the surface, yeah, and then just wipe any excess off with your finger as it were. Keep it flat. Sometimes you might want a little bit of glue just there. Slide it up there, keeping them tightly together. Leave those 2 there. Move on to the next 2, and so forth and so on. If you sort of do them in 2s like that, then everything doesn't start moving around and you're not getting too ambitious as you go along. This is the roof I'm doing for this set of cottages. Just put these 2 together. Nice and flat on the glass. I know the face is going to be absolutely perfect then. A bit of glue on the back. On fairly quick. Side of those. Yeah, I'm doing this set of cottages here. So I've already done the model. If you check online, you'll see that this model's already been done step by step. It's in the step by step area, and it's all the way to this level. And I'll be posting putting the roof on within the next few days. So, and that's what we're going to be doing here. So I'm not going to bore you with all the pieces. I'll keep skipping through, and hopefully we'll get some of the roof onto the build. Okay, so I've got 3 sets of 2, which is going to go across the front here, and I'm just working on the back while they're drying. I'm going to put a couple of velux windows, one here, one here. These are not going to have a velux, just to make it a little bit more random. So I've got my pieces here. Come back to these exactly the same way. I'm going to glue those in 2s. Now I can start actually putting these together. This is what, 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes on. Okay, so just making sure they fit in. Get my fine tip adapter again. Yeah, popping the glue into the, just a little bit on each edge. Exactly the same as before. Make sure you've got all the tiles going the right way. Push it together. It's on the glass. Yes, a bit of glue will go on the glass, but that's fine, because it won't matter in a second. Fasten those together, keep it nice and tight, slide it around a little bit, just get it off the bit where there's a bit of glue on the glass, keeping it tight together. There we go. And I'll put those 2 on shortly. And these were the velux. Just going to note, it's a little bit tight. And the reason being, I know exactly why it is. I've got 2 different sets of, I've got loads of different sets of moulds. And you'll find there's a little tiny variance in some of the old moulds and some of the new ones. Either use all old ones or all new ones. Yeah. Sometimes it works out okay, sometimes it doesn't. So I just try each piece and one won't fit and the other one will. So I'm going to do exactly the same with this. Start pairing these up in 2s and work my way all the way across. And then I'll pause the video while I get the 2 sets of 6-7 tiles done. It's going to be 7. It's going to hang over the building on both sides, and then I'm going to cut it to size. So you see the windows fell out there, but that's okay. I don't normally take the window sections out of the middle. until the building's completely done. I find that you don't break pieces like that. Exactly the same as before, just put them up in twos and keep moving forward. Pause the video there, I'll glue these together the same. Right, as you can see, I've got my 7 pieces glued together on both sets. Still drying a little bit. This set's going to go across this roof section here. I'm just going to do is roughly lay where it's going to go in terms of in line with the model. And I'm just going to mark roughly with a pencil where the struts are. This is going in the top section here, so the strut's coming down there. It's only rough. Okay, and that's just so that I can put some strengthening pieces on the back. And what I normally use is some of these little pieces, such as this, which come out of some of the moulds, and just really pop some of those, plenty of glue on those, just gives it a bit of added strength. You really don't want this thing breaking, and just pop them across. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of those. Just gives it a bit of strength. Doesn't really matter what you use, you can use anything you like on back here. I've made sure that everything's flat to the glass surface and it's dry, so I'm just putting these on quite loosely. I'll put one in there. And I'm going to do the same on this piece here. And I'm just going to let that dry, and then we'll move on to putting them on the house. See, I've had some strengtheners on that piece there. This piece is going to go up on the roof here, and I'm just going to mark roughly where the struts are on the roof. You'll see why in a second. Just there and about there. And I don't know, window. There's roughly where my other window is. All I want to do is really just avoid putting any strengtheners where those pieces are. So a little bit of glue, a few small pieces which come out of the existing moulds, steps or whatever they are. You can always end up with a pile of these, so that's what I use. Just put plenty of glue on there, and just sort of pop it across. Keep away from the window because we're going to put some acetate on that afterwards to strengthen it up, to put the windows in. It just keeps everything nice and solid really while we're filing around and getting the thing on the roof. I'll probably put one in there or something. And a little bit of glue just down there, it's not as even on the back, so sometimes you just have to put a bit of glue in there. We'll just keep everything square. Same with that piece, I've done exactly the same, so we'll just let that dry, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually fit this piece on the roof. Okay, that's part of this this particular video. So we can see we've got our roof piece there. This is going to sit on here. We can align these windows up wherever we decide we want them to be. I'm going to move them off centre from this because it might look a little bit too much if it's there. If you can see that, it looks a little bit too symmetrical, so I'm just going to move it across here to the left. I seem to have lost my pencil. Okay, get my pencil. There we go. So roughly I'm going to take off there. I can always file down a little bit. And there. Okay, and you can see that. I just use a normal craft knife. Try and always go roughly where the lines are, so I'm just going through those lines there. I won't mess this up on the video. Sort of scrape it rather than cut it. It should just come off. Other side. See, I'm just doing this by hand, no rulers. Might not be a good idea to put those strengthens on because I'm nothing to lean against. Didn't need to go as hard as that, but that should give me roughly what I want. Okay. Now I don't make the bottom section, I'll make that again out of the smaller pieces, which are these. So we'll need a row of those. And then again you can line your tiles up so everything just, all the slates offset as it's supposed to be. So if you just make a long strip, put it to the bottom. Generally speaking, before I put this in now, I do a bit of dressing up. Make sure this bottom edge is flat. Just lay it on the glass and you can sort of see. It's pretty good. It's not too bad. A little bit of a rougher file. Just gently take any rough bits off. You make the other one marry up to it, to be honest with you, but if you just lay your flat file on, you can sort of see where it's up or down. Just get it roughly how you want it. Don't spend too much time on that. You don't want much off there. Top. Okay, I use beams, and you'll see the beams are on my website because I like to do the beams and then I can put the marks in and I can shape this afterwards. And I prefer that to the little top stones. But you can put the little corner stones on. There's one. You can sort of put your two roofs together and put that on if you like. A lot of people like that, but I like the beams. But in order to marry that up to the beam properly, what you sort of need to do is chamfer this edge that way a little bit. Okay, so you just need to, and I do a sideways filing, not that way, because it seems to keep it nice and even. Just work your way along there. And you can just keep offering it up until you get the best fit. It's quite a bit to take off that. To get a really good snug fit. And then what I'll do is I'll fill it with the glue, with the PVA adhesive, and that'll paint over. So if you get any gaps, it's pretty good. It's not too far off actually. It won't take much on here because it's only quite thin. That's not too bad a fit. Tiny little bit of a bow there, and then it wasn't the best piece, but that's okay. It'll all add to the character when it's finished. And I'll just keep going along like this for quite a while until I get everything I want. It won't take too long really. And that's pretty much where we want to be. So, okay, just to finish this video off, generally use one of these really useful boxes which is full of stuff, and try and get this thing at an angle because we don't want this thing falling over once it's on there. Hopefully you can see that. Just centralise that, that's fine. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just glue down these. I'm just going to put quite a bit of glue on there, especially on these middle ones. It doesn't matter if it oozes out, it's inside the building. And I'm not even going to glue the top bit because I'm going to glue that after. That'll be nice and solid when that's on. Okay, just another tip then while you're waiting for that to dry. These little gaps that you can see here, the paint will cover a multitude of sins, but obviously if there is a gap, there's a gap. So again, you can just sort of go along and fill in these. PVA. I use an acrylic paint, so it covers this no problem. So when I put the base coat in, all I do is just run across that with my finger. And actually the glue's white obviously when it's wet, so you can sort of see where you filled and where you haven't. When it dries, it'll look like you can see the gaps again because it's clear, but that's fine because the paint will cover it up and you won't tell. You won't be able to see these at all. Just work your way across while that's sort of drying and just do this. And sometimes when you're doing this bottom strip here, depends on what type of building you're doing, sometimes you might just need a row of full tiles and you might need to cut sort of two or three pieces off the bottom. And that seems to be easiest. Just work your way across, make a line like that, and then just put a pencil line in. It cuts quite easy that way. Nice long strokes, and that's it. So that's going to about conclude for this video. I'm going to do the same with the other piece of roofing shortly here. Exactly the same principle. And in my next video, I'm actually going to finish off the little apexes on the other side because they're a little bit tricky. But I hope that's given you some insight or some idea of what's involved. It is a slow process. It takes me 10 times longer when I'm doing the video because I can just get on with it and I don't really care what mess I make when I'm not doing the video. So there we go. And I'll call that it for today. So please watch my video part 3. First one was on casting. This one is a little bit of putting pieces together. The next one will be the more intricate pieces, i.e. the front of this building. We'll put the strip in here. We're going to work down these little side pieces, which are quite intricate, but it's not too bad at all. And these are a little more difficult, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in my third video, which should be in a week or two, maybe a few days, I don't know. Go as quick as I can. Other than that, carry on building.